Awakening the Third Eye. Chapter number 16. Complementary techniques. Nidhi. In the ancient Sanskrit treatises of Hatha Yoga, several techniques of inner purification are described. A group of 6 of them are called the Kat Karman, or 6 actions, which are Nidhi, a purification of the nasal cavity. Dhati, purification of the stomach. Basti, a variation of an enema. Apart from their local action, Dhati and Basti are cleansers of the earth and water elements throughout the body. Tmaka, gazing at a candle or a minute object. Nali, in which the 2 abdominal muscles recti abdominis are contracted one after the other, thereby giving an impression of rotation. Nali is a strong stimulant of the abdominal fire and of the fire of the body in general. Kaplab tea, made of a short but intense hyperventilation. These techniques do not only purify the physical and subtle bodies, they also awaken the body of energy and its centers. Therefore, they can all be recommended to a sincere seeker. Of these 6 techniques we will dwell on the first one, Nidhi, for it has a direct and remarkable action on the awakening of the third eye. Apart from its effect on the frontal chakra, Nidhi is also said to purify all the channels of energy in the neck and the head, thereby having a significant healing action on any disorder located in these areas. In the traditional way of Hatha Yoga, Nidhi is performed with a long-beaked pot called a lota. The lota is filled with salt water. The yogis bend their head to one side, and the end of the beak is introduced in the nostril on the other side. The water is allowed to flow through one nostril and falls out through the other. The same operation is then repeated on the other side. For our purpose, there is a more efficient way of performing Nidhi which does not require a lota, long-beaked pot. Take a mug, or even better, a vessel or small bowl that is shorter but wider than a mug. Fill it with lukewarm water, about the same temperature as inside your mouth. Use clean, purified water. Add half a teaspoon of rock salt or sea salt. But do not use fine-grained table salt, which would irritate your nose. Put your nose in the water. Start drinking the salt water through your nostrils. Draw the water through the nose and let it spill out through the mouth. The water goes straight from the nasal cavity into the mouth and gets expelled from there. The whole operation is quick and not at all uncomfortable. It gives a very refreshing and awakening feeling. It generates inner clarity and a sharp perception of energy in the nostrils. Tips. One of the secrets is not to take in air while drawing in the water. That is why a wider cup is advisable. Otherwise, after drinking a quarter of the mug you start getting as much air as liquid, and the result may be slightly irritating to your nose. Another secret lies in the art of drying your nose after you have finished expelling the water. Most of the modern treatises on Hatha Yoga remain vague and evasive on this topic, advising nothing more than blowing your nose. Mistake. If you practice the following drying technique you will be surprised to see how much more water will be expelled from your nasal cavities, even if you have previously blown your nose for a few minutes. Stand up with your legs apart and half bent. Rest your arms on your knees. Without moving your trunk, throw the head upwards and backwards, exhaling violently through the nose at the same time. This is done in about half a second, after which a normal inhalation follows. Then, after half a second of motionlessness, quickly project the head downwards while strongly blowing the air out of your nose. Inhale normally. Then project the head upwards again while vigorously blowing the air out. Inhale normally. Continue like this for half a minute or so, blowing the air out and throwing your head up and down alternately. Then repeat the process, but this time turn the head once to the right and once to the left. Blow the air out of your nostrils vigorously each time you throw the head to the side. There is no need to blow your nose prior to or after this method of drying. The needy practice should be implemented in the morning, before meditating, and therefore before eating. When you are trained, you complete it in 2 or 3 minutes, including the drying. Practice every morning for about 1 or 2 years, and then wait a few years before resuming another year of practice. Needy has a sharp, invigorating action. It makes you feel acutely aware, awake and refreshed. It strengthens the third eye in a conspicuous way and stimulates clairvoyant vision. If you can be brave enough to overcome the discomfort of the first attempts, you will soon enjoy it very much and gain substantial benefits from it. Once you have mastered needy, you become able to suppress any cold if you happen to catch one. You gain the capacity to adjust the energy at the back of your throat in a way that will stop any nasal discharge. The trick works better if you take the cold at its onset. However, I strongly advise you not to do so. Respect the little discharges of the body, do not suppress them. They are a natural elimination, they play a role in maintaining the general balance of your system. So please put up with the cold, and according to one of our mottos, let it flow. The modern habit of rushing to a health practitioner every time we have a little symptom is childish and based on a misunderstanding of the body's economy. In many cases, minor ailments should be allowed to follow their course. Treating minor diseases can sometimes end up creating major ones in the long run. The use of rhythms. In section 11.8 we discussed how the astral body is lacking a sense of rhythm. The following suggestions aim at strengthening this weak side of your astral body. The first advice is to practice your exercises every day at exactly the same time. The results of this measure will be out of proportion with the effort it will take you to implement it. After all, if you devote some time every morning to your meditation, does it make such a difference to you whether you start exactly at 7, for instance, instead of any time between 1:45 and 1:15? And yet, as far as the results go, it does make a very significant difference. Every day your system will automatically start the practices at the given time. Less effort will be needed to reach the meditation state, and the experiences of consciousness will be significantly deeper. Apart from these simple results, the meditation and other exercises will have a much greater impact on your astral body. Regularity has an unexpectedly potent action on the astral body, reinforcing its whole structure. Imagine a ship with a leakage in the hull. You can try to make all sorts of improvements to the boat, get better sails, add an engine. These will speed up the ship. But fixing the leakage will have an even more direct action, since it corrects a basic weakness in the boat. This is exactly what you achieve when you work at reinforcing the astral body's sense of rhythm. You can potentize your practices even further by preceding them with a particular sequence of actions. For instance, washing your hands, going to the toilet, taking a shower, whatever you want, but always in exactly the same order. Do exactly the same movements, one after the other, morning after morning, and something will coagulate in the structure of your astral body. It will also help if you instigate another similar sequence of actions every evening before your night practice. The more the astral body gets involved in these actions, the more efficient the exercise becomes. This means you have to perform each operation in full awareness, completely in your eye, putting all of yourself in the action, even if it is something apparently insignificant such as washing your hands or drinking a glass of water. Implement any single movement with intention, never automatically. More than aware, be awake. Twilight. The night is yin, the day is yang, and what is twilight? Beyond the pair of opposites, twilight is a time for transcendence, awareness of the self. Sunrise and sunset should be regarded as precious moments in which a very special energy is available for spiritual awakening. It is not very difficult to find out the times of sunrise and sunset, as they are indicated in most newspapers. These times vary little from one day to the next, so it is enough to get them once or twice a week. Anyway, twilight is not a punctual instant, but more a span of a few minutes. It is of great spiritual value to tune in and be aware in the eye and in the heart, at least every evening at sunset, if your schedule makes it difficult to be awake at sunrise. You do not have to stop your activities, just tune in. Try to be in harmony with the very special energy of twilight and let it work on you. New moon and full moon. Similarly, the nights of the new moon and full moon have an energy which can facilitate great inner shifts. Once more, particular vigilance should be maintained at these times. Fasting for openings. If your perception is completely blocked, if you never see or feel anything, even though you are practicing regularly, then the answer could be fasting. I have seen a number of students who achieved remarkable shifts and openings by fasting for a few days. Another good indication for fasting is when you are working on a particular blockage that never seems to yield or respond to your efforts. You don't necessarily have to undertake a drastic fast. First, try 2 or 3 days on juices or on organic fruits only. This is often enough to start getting things moving. Eating only fruits 1 day a week can also be a good way of supporting the process of opening. A longer and more intense fast can also be quite valuable, but it is preferable to discuss the matter with a naturopathy-oriented health practitioner first. Proper management of sexual energies. The Taoists have designed many techniques of inner alchemy and longevity based on a particular management of sexual energy. These techniques can make a substantial difference to your health condition and to the process of development of your subtle bodies. I therefore recommend them as a valuable complement to the methods indicated in this book. Vaccinations. According to homeopaths, vaccinations favor what they call the saccadic miasm. The saccadic miasm is a condition of energy in which, among other things, the rational mind is rigidified to the detriment of intuition. Saccadic tendencies are at the very opposite of the opening required to develop clairvoyant perception. If you feel completely blocked, it could be valuable to visit a homeopath and ask advice on the subject. Seen from clairvoyant vision, vaccinations appear potentially far more toxic than present scientific authorities seem to believe. My prediction is that a number of manipulations of the human physiology which are presently implemented could one day prove to be more disastrous to humankind than atomic weapons by causing a dilapidation of the genetic capital, large-scale infertility, and a complete collapse of the immune system. Could it be that vaccinations are introducing a seed for a collapse of our immune system? The question should at least be asked and seriously addressed. Telephone. Each time the telephone rings, instead of rushing, remain very quiet inside for 1 or 2 seconds and try to feel who is calling. Be careful not to let your rational mind interfere by making clever deductions. Just become empty and receptive for a short while. Make this technique an effortless habit, practice it systematically. Sticking a reminder on the telephone usually helps. It will not cost you any extra time in your day. The same practice can be extended to other situations of daily life. For instance, each time somebody enters your house, tune in and try to see who it is. With the telephone, this practice will be of a different nature for the following reasons. Seen from a clairvoyant eye, a telephone call is a curious melange of consciousness and an electromagnetic signal. The two get mingled into a wave, not unlike the manipulations of radionics. The telephone call is not only a signal carried by an electric current. A wave is generated in a particular astral layer, and the electric signal is but an outer manifestation of this wave. That is why some healers can be so efficient when helping a patient over the telephone. The telephone wave carries their psychic impulse. That is also why you sometimes feel so scattered after a telephone call, because a lot of emotional negativity can be conveyed to you through the astral layer of communication. I predict that in the coming centuries some human beings will develop amazing psychic capacities by using electronic devices, or the scions of our present electronic devices. Not all human beings, but some particular schools will work at using electromagnetism and other technologies to amplify their psychic powers. They will connect their nervous system to strange machines, which will result in a monstrous bioelectronic symbiosis. Neurocybernetics will become a path of consciousness, and dark forces will try to take advantage of the powers it bestows. This will eventually be used as a major form of warfare. A group of souls are presently being trained who will reincarnate with the particular purpose of fighting the dark forces that will be manipulating the radionics field. This astral layer will have to be thoroughly cleared, a task similar to the clearing of the Augean stables by Hercules. The battles will be incredibly violent, though of quite a different nature from the present forms of warfare. And the victory of the forces of light will depend on the support and integrity of a large number of human beings. A number of those who are reading this book will be involved in that war, directly or indirectly, and the soul forces that they are presently developing through their spiritual practice will prove essential in deciding which side will be victorious. Moksas on Baihui, Governor 20. Moksas are sticks in the shape of a cigar filled with a herb called mugwort, Artemisia vulgaris. You can find them in Chinese shops. They are used in acupuncture to apply a soft warmth onto points instead of needling them. The acupuncture point Baihui, or Governor 20, is at the back of the top of the head. To find it, take the axis of the ears and extend it upwards in an arc, following the scalp. Baihui is located where the two arcs join, at the top and the back of the head. To use moksas you do not need a very precise location of the point. Light the moksa with a candle. Hold it about 1 inch or so above the point. The person should feel a soft, comfortable warmth. If no warmth is felt, move the moksa closer. If it starts to become too hot, move the moksa a little further away. No burning sensation should be felt at any stage of the practice. Keep warming up the point gently for 5 to 10 minutes. Don't forget to remove the ashes from the moksa from time to time, or they might fall and burn your friend's head. When finished, there is a special way of extinguishing the moksa. Being very thick, it can't be treated like a cigarette butt. You have to put the burning tip of the moksa into the earth in order to smother it in a pot plant, for instance. Moksas on Baihui draw energies upwards, slightly release the astral body from the etheric, and the etheric from the physical. The etheric body is not completely withdrawn from the physical, of course, but becomes slightly less impacted. This creates a temporary situation that is favorable for subtle perceptions. I do not recommend that you use moksas on Baihui on a regular basis, but that you experiment with it from time to time to give a boost to your vision, for instance, before doing eye contact. Moksas should not be used when the weather is too hot to avoid an accumulation of heat in the body. Ponytail. Another interesting way of stimulating Baihui, Governor 20, and the crown chakra is to tie a tuft of your hair in the same area. This custom was practiced by monks of various origins. Others have shaved this part of the skull to enhance their receptivity to higher worlds, but this is not so convenient if you live in the world. You will be surprised to see how the ponytail in the area of Bai Wei immediately enhances the energy of your crown chakra. It is a minor but beneficial complement that can be used when you are on a retreat and practicing non-stop. Blind walking. Put on a blindfold and get somebody to guide you on a walk through the countryside. The exercise provides an occasion for relying mainly on your eye to sense and explore your environment. It is also quite interesting for developing trust. This is the end of chapter 16 of Awakening the Third Eye by Samuel Sagan, MD. Break time equals 2000 milliseconds. Please listen to this recording minimum 3 times for better and long-term results. If you like this recording, please comment and share it with your friends and loved ones. Stay tuned for listening more books like this. Thank you and good luck.